All right, let's get a little more crazy with the PEMDAS. So as it gets more and more complicated, we're still gonna use our good PEMDAS over here to sort of guide us through our thinking. So the P stands for parentheses, and we obviously have two items up here. So we need to make this happen. We need one number in each. So I'm gonna zoom into this first parentheses to start. Now before I can do 3 plus anything, we talked about this yesterday. If you have any fractions in your math, before you can really proceed, we really need to try to get one number on top and one number on bottom. I already have one number here, so I'm gonna do 6 minus 4 to start there to get just one number on top and one number on the bottom. And I'm gonna rewrite everything else for right now. Gotta get one number on top, one number on bottom. And now in this parentheses, we can follow our PEMDAS. Before we add, we need to do our division. The M and the D come before the A and the S. Anytime you see a fraction in math, fraction is officially division. 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now I'm ready to add both of these parentheses together because you're not done unless each parentheses has one number. 3 plus 2 is 5. 4 plus 3 is 7. If there's nothing in between the parentheses, this is multiplication. 5 times 7 will give us 35. So as a reminder, we started with the fraction here. We needed one number on the top and bottom. We did the division to 2, and over here, we didn't touch that parentheses at all. And finally, we were able to do 3 plus 2 to get 5, 4 plus 3 to get 7, to multiply to our end. Let's make one more happen. So we're gonna start with our parentheses, and we know we are done with our parentheses step if there's one number. So I see over here, this 6 and the 5, that's already the only number in those parentheses. So those don't count for our P step. Only this one over here that has more than one number on the inside. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over here and do 6 minus 4 to get 2, and then nothing else will have changed yet. So now my parentheses step is done because all 3 parentheses only have one number. We're good to go. Down to exponents now. I only see one exponent. 2 squared means multiply this number times itself twice, so 2 times 2 is 4. And now according to this, multiplication and division comes next. There's nothing in between parentheses, that is multiplication. And now we're just gonna add left to right. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 30 is 40. Eventually, our order of operations will start looking like this instead, where you're given sort of an algebraic expression and you're giving variables to use. And in order to make this happen, we're gonna use this h equals 3 and j equals 4. We're gonna take those numbers and swap them out where we see those variables in our problem, and then it'll become a PEMDAS problem. But we have to understand what the algebra is actually communicating. So with JH, there's nothing in between the J and the H. That is J times H. So when I come down here in my parentheses, I'm gonna make the J a parentheses, and I'm gonna make the H a parentheses. And then I'm gonna make another parentheses for the J squared, and I'm just gonna put a little squared in there, and all of which is over 6. So I'm literally just setting up my problem so I can substitute those values. J and H both became parentheses, and so did that J. All 3 variables just became their own parentheses. Since there was nothing in between those parentheses, there's nothing in between these ones down here. Now the J, we're gonna use 4. For the H, we're gonna use 3. And now this is just a PEMDAS problem. Before we can do anything else, we need to do our P step first. There's only one number, so we need to do 4 squared. 4 squared is that number times itself twice. So what is 4 times 4? Will be 16, all of which is still over 6. Now we need to get one number on top here before we can do anything else. And so there's nothing in between either parentheses. So that's 4 times 3, then that answer times 16. So 4 times 3 is 12. Woo. All I did was 4 times 3 gave me the 12. I haven't touched the 16 or the 6, so it just continued. Still need just one number on top of the fraction, so we need to do that multiplication. 12 times 16 is 192. And now that I have one number on top and one number on bottom, I can divide. 192 divided by 6 is our final answer of 32. The only thing that makes this PEMDAS different is that setup. You have to plug in the variables that we gave you and then follow the PEMDAS down to the answer.